Hi, my name is Carlos and welcome to my video. Today we're going to talk about Disney and Pixar. More importantly, where Disney and Pixar are going with this upcoming year. Now, the first thing I want to mention is the most interesting thing Pixar has ever come out with, or at least the most interesting news Pixar has ever come out with, is they're starting to do direct-to-video movies. And I know what you're thinking, yeah, this is kind of Pixar's downfall because let's face it, when Disney started doing direct-to-videos, sequels and movies, they all really sucked. Well, it's your fault because they're doing this because you didn't support Cars 2 as much as they wanted you to. And yes, I know, you hated Cars 2, and knowing who you are, obviously, you probably hated Tangled as well. Problem is, those aren't bad movies, it's just they both came after Toy Story 3, and to be honest, Disney and Pixar was not put up on that high of a pedestal in this generation until Toy Story 3 was released. Therefore, no matter what those movies were that would be released after that specific movie, fans and mass audiences just wouldn't like it as much. Whether you're consciously comparing it to Toy Story 3 or not, I know you are, and that's really the reason why Cars 2 got flagged so much for being bad, because it really wasn't that bad. But I'm getting off topic. The thing that Pixar said they were going to release direct-to-video is a movie spin-off that takes place above the world of Cars, titled Planes. And it is going to be starring the guy from 2.5 Men, who's not Charlie Sheen and not Ashton Kutcher. Yeah, so this movie is probably going to suck, but it's being released by Pixar. But, you know, it's also being released direct-to-video, so it's Pixar's first non-theatrical release, but this is a lot of big firsts for Pixar's. You know, they had their first 2 years in a row where they didn't release an original story. You know, Toy Story 3 and Cars 2 are both sequels that came out one after another, and they had their first canceled movie, which was Newt, which was canceled because production was laid off, or not laid off, it was put off so much in that it eventually just completely got canceled, and then it became the movie Rio, which was made by, I believe, DreamWorks, because it wasn't Sony Pictures, it was probably DreamWorks. So we'll see how Planes does, but honestly, it's probably not going to do that great. The other things that Pixar has coming up for us, I'm talking about Pixar first, obviously, because I know that's what you care about. Obviously, Brave is coming out this year, and Monsters Academy is coming out the year after that. The two other things that they've revealed, I'm not sure if those will be coming out sequentially after Monster Academy, or if they're going to be like 5 years later. But the first of which is, well, right now is being called the Untitled Pixar Movie About Dinosaurs, which is Pixar's response to the early 2000 Disney movie about dinosaurs titled Dinosaur that didn't go as well as they hoped. Now, with Planes and the Untitled movie about dinosaurs, I don't understand why Pixar keeps making movies in reference to movies that were made by the same company that were not that good. I mean, who do they think they are, making spin-offs of all these bad movies that they made themselves? DreamWorks? Zing. And then after that, Pixar releases word on the movie after that being called, right now, the Untitled Pixar Movie that takes you inside the mind... Wait, no, that was wrong. The Untitled Pixar Movie that takes you in a little girl's mind, something like that. It is going to be, I guess, about the human brain, about the brain of this child, this female child, and is going to teach you about why songs get stuck in our head and why we forget things. I know that sounds a little bit too educational to be kind of Pixar's thing, but they're really excited for it and have really big hopes for it, so we'll just see where it goes. And then finally, the bigger news that I really wanted to share with you guys is what's going on down with Disney. Not Pixar, but Disney. First, there's little to no word on this movie called Frozen, other than the fact that the title is Frozen. So, yeah, that's that. There's a movie coming out called Frozen, and they've revealed literally nothing on it except for the title. So I'll get back to you on that one. But, way more importantly, Disney is coming out with a movie called Wreck-It Ralph, which I am very, very excited for. What they're going for is a Who Framed Roger Rabbit kind of feel to a movie, but instead of using famous cartoons at the time, they are doing a movie about the video game world. See, the trailers, quote-unquote trailers, for this movie are actually arcade machines, and I'm not sure if Wreck-It Ralph is an actual arcade game, but from what I've seen, it looks like they are arcade machine games that play a 8-bit cutscene of what looks like gameplay of the game that would be Wreck-It Ralph, which is a Donkey Kong-style arcade game where the main villain, Wreck-It Ralph, breaks a building, and Fix-It Felix has to fix the building. And of course, the plot of the movie is Wreck-It Ralph, the antagonist of this arcade game, wants to switch over to the good side and be a hero instead of the villain that he was programmed to be. Wreck-It Ralph will be played by John C. Reilly. You might have remembered him from Step Brothers. And Fix-It Felix Jr. will be played by John McBrayer. You might have remembered him from 30 Rock or Phineas and Ferb. That being said, that's a very interesting duo to play these characters, but it kind of makes sense. Fix-It Felix kind of looks just like Luigi, so I'm going to assume he'll have a very Mario Brothers kid-friendly feel to him, so John McBrayer is a really good choice, and John C. Reilly just kind of looks like he would be that character, that really big, blue-toe Donkey Kong kind of guy who wants to be good instead of evil. And they're going to go into other video game worlds. They're going to go into a very Halo-esque world, where its commander is voiced by the girl who plays Sue Sylvester in Glee. And I know you know who that is. Don't pretend you don't. They're going to go into a world with zombies. They are going to feature Zangief from Street Fighter. Yeah, Zangief is going to be in a Disney movie. The Pac-Man Ghost are going to make an appearance. Kano from Mortal Kombat. Yeah, these are kind of like the zombies and Kano. That's a little edgy. Like those are genres that you wouldn't imagine being in a Disney movie. So I'm really excited to see where this is going to go, because I mean, like, the Halo world in a Disney movie mixed with Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and Pac-Man, and it all comes from this arcade game that looks like Donkey Kong Arcade from 1981. On top of that, it's a Disney movie, so it's probably going to be theatrically pleasing. And I guess my only real complaint is Disney's kind of stepping down from what they... My phone is ringing. They're kind of stepping down from what they are really good at, you know, a really big retelling, reenactment of a fairy tale that they change, but overall the changes make it better. You know, they started doing that when Princess and the Frog came out. That wasn't the big comeback they were hoping for. And then they released Tangled, which was the same thing, but it was a CG 3D animation, so then it was way more successful, and it was a really great movie. It's like one of the best movies ever, but people don't like it because it came after Toy Story 3. Point being, they started redoing those things that Disney's really good for, you know, like The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and I guess like Mulan and Pocahontas. I mean, those are actual things that happened in history. But honestly, that's not really a big complaint, because there will be other Disney movies. There will be more time where they do big retellings of more famous fairy tales, because I can't imagine what they're going to do next. They've done the majority of the fairy tales that I can think of off the top of my head. So I think this is a really good direction with Disney. I think this is a very good direction with Disney, and I think this is a very bad direction with Pixar. So yeah, these next couple years are going to be very interesting in terms of animation with the Disney and Pixar. I can't say much for DreamWorks. They're going to probably just do more sequels of movies they've already made. But that's really all I had to say today, guys, so thanks for watching. I just watched Star Wars in 3D Episode 1, so my next video is probably going to be about Star Wars, so stay tuned. Catch you later.